We are tonight's entertainment.
What the fuck is this, Chet?
This is a tasty burger.
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
Is this your homework, Larry?
Why just spill your beans?
Welcome back, brothers, to the motherfucking film scoop. We got a special episode this week. No Carl, he's asleep. What's new? But we're here with the boys, Alex, Allan, and Ben.
Yo.
And we're going to talk about The Penguin. Episode 1 just dropped right off the presses. And we're going to give our thoughts, yap a little bit, talk about the Batman shenanigans, hijinks, hubbub, all that. But we'll start with Alex. You can go ahead and just tell us how you're doing, and then tell us what you thought about the first episode.
What's up? I'm Alex. I'm from the Shop by Shop podcast. I've done my fair share of podcasts while I'm high, but fresh off a J right now, so this should be pretty interesting. I don't know if you want me to give my thoughts first, but I will if you would like me to. But we're starting on an optimistic mood that then I'm not your guy.
Oh, you can go ahead. Go ahead. Don't worry about it. Whatever you think is valid. So
I gotta say, it's funny that my first time on this podcast, we're covering TV because no one probably on this earth despises the entire craft of TV like I do. But for me to go and watch a show, I have to really like the subject matter, and that's a big testament to how much I love the Matt Reeves film. That I'm willing to watch a show because I love this world that he's created. I love the characters he's created so much that I'm willing to sit down and watch it, not just a show, a 1 hour long episode show, just out of love for the Matt Reeves film, because what could they do wrong? And it feels like Matt Reeves could not have been further from the development of this project. I just so badly don't want to believe that this is the same universe that he's built up, and it just does not feel like the same universe at all. People criticize the Batman by saying, oh, it's all aesthetic, there's nothing else to it. This proves them wrong, because not all scenes, but some scenes did capture a good aesthetic, and it's complete shit. It's everything I worried it could be and worse. So I'll start with that.
boy, all right. We'll go straight into you, Ben.
All right, I'm Ben. I do have a podcast of my own, but I'm not as consistent as the other guys. But if you are somewhat interested in listening, it's called the Registered Cinephiles podcast. I and my friend Adonis, we try to drop episodes as much as we can, but life just gets in our way and just prevents us from getting together and recording. But we did drop 2 episodes. I want to say a month and a half ago at this point. So if you want to go check those out, I guess do that. But my thoughts on the Penguin, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. The Batman's my favorite superhero movie of all time. And ever since the Penguin was announced earlier this year, I was just, bonered up about the thought of watching this on my couch tonight, and the night finally came. And yeah, I really liked it a lot. I like how we can see a different side of the Penguin character from what we have in the Batman film. Yeah, I mean, that's what's my first thoughts about it.
All right, Allan.
Yo, I'm Allan. I'm happy to be here on the Film Scoop after hours. Have some pooping issues right now. That's how I'm doing. But
join the club, pal.
Listen, for the Penguin, I'm kind of like in between Ben and Alex. Like, I can definitely see the things that Alex is criticizing. I think the aesthetic of just the movie and Gotham is missing. I don't think it had enough Gotham. As far as like the cast and stuff though, like the acting, amazing. I think I'm so happy they got like Clancy Brown, Colin Farrell to come back. Mark Strong, I know, is supposed to play Falcone in like flashbacks, I think. So a good cast, and I'm not sure the actress that plays Sophia, but she was great first episode. But great acting so far. I mean, yeah, I think it was a solid episode. I think Mick Giacchino for the Penguin theme, so it joins, like the Riddler theme, the Catwoman theme, Batman theme, and I think it lives up to those. It was really, really good. I'm not sure how I feel about the. This is spoiler free right now, or does it matter?
No, you can go into spoilers.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure how I feel about what they did early on with Falcone's son. I can kind of see what they did as maybe a positive, because it really kind of twists the viewer around right off the bat, right? Like maybe you expected him to be in the show for a while, but they just said fuck that. And I also not sure how I feel about the protege character Vic with the Penguin. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. But yeah, that's I think.
Hell yeah. I'll give my quick thoughts and then we can just go into like a discussion overall. But the if you're a scooper, you know the Batman's my favorite movie of all time, so I'm gonna be extremely biased about the Penguin. Because I've just been itching to get back into Matt Reeves' Batman universe. And I was surprised like how much I enjoyed it. And I was really excited about it, but there was a part of my brain that was like, since this isn't Matt Reeves fully and this isn't fully Greg Fraser, it might disappoint me. And that didn't really happen for me. I thought it did a great job setting up like instant conflict where like the Batman ends and now we have this power vacuum. And like the scene with Penguin and Alberto, where out of nowhere he just murders Alberto. And like Allan was saying, that was a character I thought was going to be in the show for a while. So when that happened, I was like, holy shit, like they're going for it. Like this guy doesn't give a fuck. And I think it sets up Penguin's character really well too, because we know that he's sort of insecure and he hates when people belittle him and make fun of him. So all Alberto had to do was laugh at him, and then he got capped, which I think is just good writing. Like good, it's a good depiction of who Oz is. And I just thought that the opening did like such a great job of making it feel like the Batman again, with like the news overlay and talking about like they mentioned Batman, they mentioned the flood and all that stuff. It just felt like I was back. And there is like a slight dip in quality, which I never expected the Penguin to be as good visually or as good in any way as the Batman. I mean, that's just those should not be your expectations. At least I think so. So I thought they did a great job like making it feel like the Batman. With obviously it's going to be lower quality, like TV just can't it doesn't have the resources to maintain the same level of quality as, a blockbuster film can. But I thought they did a great job like making it feel like the same world but just like a tad different. And Mick Giacchino's score, like Allan said, it's like very close to Michael's score for the Batman, but just like a little bit off, just like slightly off. And I liked that it didn't feel like a ripoff. It just feels like very like next to it, which I thought was cool. But yeah, I think that's like my overall thoughts. I thought it did a great job setting up everything, going into like the dynamics of the Falcone family, who runs it, like Tony Viti, and where Penguin falls in the pecking order, and then them taking away his drops business and him trying to get Maroni to come and like swoop in and him play both sides. And I just thought that was really cool, really smart too. And I like the introduction of Sophia's character too, and how they're foreshadowing how like batshit crazy she is, but not fully going into it yet. But like, I feel like we're gonna get some flashbacks, and yeah, I just feel like it was a great start. So, Alex, do you want to get into more why exactly you weren't a huge fan of it?
How much time do we have?
Before you
Much
go,
time as you
Alex,
need.
before you tear into it, I want to say that, Cash, I agree with what you said about, like, at the beginning, whenever they were doing the news montage and the Giacchino score, the Michael Giacchino score was playing, and like there's like some shots from the first movie. Like, it really did feel like we were going right back in, like we never left. But then, as soon as that ended, I just didn't feel like the Matt Reeves universe to me. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will say the one really cool thing was the title sequence with
Yeah.
the what was his name, Alberto Falcone, in the font. That was really sick. But yeah, Alex, you can tear away now. What I really just say right there.
I'm actually glad you spoke before me just there because you actually did open my eyes to something. I now, after hearing what you said, do realize that me and you clearly did not watch the same fucking show because like Cash said, like he was nervous about like Greg Fraser being absent, and it could not have been more fucking clear that Greg Fraser did not have any parts in this fucking movie because that cinematography was dog shit. Every shot, it was the most basic TV coverage thing of just the most patch job editing. It doesn't feel like any of the actors are in the same room as each other. It feels like they said, "Okay, here's your lines. Okay, read. All right, you go take your break. Next actor up, read your lines." It doesn't feel like the actors are actually in a conversation, bouncing off of each other and listening to each other and reacting off each other. It feels like they're in front of a camera reading dialogue. And it's like, okay, new angle, read it again, and they just do a big patch job in the editing. The whole show is just conversations. There's no moments to sit with the music in the picture or just sit with the aesthetic or sit with an emotion or that like nonverbal communication that we see so much of in Matt Reeves' film. There's none of that. It's just a series of conversations that I could not be less interested in. I think right away with the whole newsreel, I just knew I was in trouble. Just that it just something about it just felt like a cheap TV quality compared to the intensity that Reeves film brings. Like Reeves film right away, you feel that intensity in your bloodstream of just whether it's the sound mix, the visuals, and this just felt so like bland from the very start. Can anyone name me something creative that this episode did? Because I can't.
In terms of like the filmmaking you're talking about,
Anything, writing, filmmaking, anything. Can anyone tell me something creative that this did?
um,
Sometimes silence speaks louder than words.
Alex, I don't fully disagree with you. I think the biggest issue is that it's missing an aesthetic, the Batman aesthetic. And Cass,
so I
also,
will.
I forgot to like mention this before Alex spoke, but like I disagree with you on TV not being able to have the same sort of quality as movies, because you look at shows like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, cinematography and just like the visual storytelling, insane. Even fucking Disney shows like The Mandalorian, the first maybe second season as well, and even Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they have like movie sequences that look like they're from movies, and they're like far in between and stuff, but they're there. And I think in this one it's more possible because it's such a smaller scale than an insane blockbuster in a movie theater.
I just want to make 2 points real quick, then everyone can tell me what an idiot I am. But first, I just want to say whether it's I'm watching the Matt Reeves Batman film or I'm watching an episode of the Batman animated series, which is TV, 5 minutes into both of those, I am overwhelmed by the amount of creativity and the beauty of the images and the emotional response that it's creating, just the intensity and like emotional thrill of those, whether it's the movie or the shows. I am just overwhelmed by the creativity of both of them. 5 minutes into both of them. I watched an hour of this fucking show and didn't see one creative thing, and I really forgot. It's been literally years since I watched an episode of a 1 hour show, and I forgot just how brutal that is. Like 30 minutes in, I'm like, all right, I gotta be done soon. 30 minutes left. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And so then it's like I agree with what Alan said. Like this is a movie. This is an hour. This is over an hour long. Like this is under 30 minutes away from literally being a 90-minute film, and has the production quality of something that feels like it's only 30 minutes less in runtime to a shorter runtime film, and it's so far below in quality, it's insane. Like a 2-hour movie and an hour and a half movie can be the same in quality, but yet the hour long show, all of a sudden we just don't expect quality anymore. Like if it's 30-minute TV, I get that. It's like a sitcom, it's point and shoot quick. It's 20 minutes, I get that. You're asking me for a fucking hour every single week for this show, and you can't like photographers get good cinematography for literally nothing, just by filming nature the right way or what exists in the real world. And you can't give me some decent images to look at. You can't give me insert shots. You can't give me something other than a shoulders up conversation for every fucking scene. So I'll stop there, and everyone can tell me how dumb I am.
Hold on, before the guys that really love it go, I want to say while I was watching this, I was trying to like cope with what you're saying, and I was just like, in the movie, it's from the Batman's perspective, so it's not gonna look like the movie was, and I was just coping and saying this is from Oz's perspective, and it's a little more run down and less color, and I was like, why am I saying that to myself? Am I stupid? But yeah, I pretty much. I still enjoyed it, by the way, but like I can 100% see where Alex is coming from. Like, and it's not ridiculous to say that.
Oh, I haven't even gotten started on the aesthetic yet. There's plenty more to come, my friend.
Honestly, I don't really disagree with anything Alex said. I don't think anything he said is really wrong. And I do know what you're talking about, Alan, where like I kind of just wrote off TV as like it I don't know. In my head, it's like TV has always been very dialogue focused, and it seems like a lot of the best shows are just people talking, and most of the time shows don't really take too much of an interest in crafting a good shot, and they're just trying to get the job done and get the scene done. But then you have stuff like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, you know, Severance, Game of Thrones, like so many shows that actually do look great with like the same budget as the Penguin. So I get what you're saying where like we shouldn't be making excuses for it. But at the same time, I also don't think the Penguin looks bad. I don't. I mean, it's not the most creative. You don't see many like camera movement techniques or like editing choices or anything that really blow you away creatively. But I also don't like get disgusted looking at the image.
Yeah,
Like I
no,
think it's fine. It does its job. It's good enough.
it's not ugly
And
or anything.
but
It's just underwhelming.
it is, especially if you compare it to the Batman, which
Yeah.
everyone's gonna do, and that's fine. That makes sense. Um, but for me, I feel like it's good enough and it does its job. And I feel like my goal for the Penguin is more about world building and building out the characters and the underworld of Gotham. So as long as it does that, I'm happy. I feel like that will be good setup for the Batman Part 2, and I care a little less about the image than Alex does. And I completely understand why Alex hates TV as much as he does because it's like against almost everything he loves about movies. So that I completely understand that, but for me it's like what I'm going to the Penguin for, it's doing really well. So I can't really complain too much, but I do agree that we should probably have a higher standard for it, like visually and creatively. When it does have, I'm pretty sure it had a pretty big budget, and Matt Reeves is producing, and we have a lot of resources to create good, well shot images. But I mean, outside of the images, like I think the acting's really good. Like Colin Farrell is fucking amazing, and everyone in it, Kristen Milioti, she's really good, and I feel like I didn't think the dialogue was bad either. I thought it was actually pretty solid. So the image just doesn't really bother me as much as it does for Alex and you, just because it's not really what I go to the show for as much. But I'll let Ben give his thoughts.
All right, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with anyone. I can see what Alex is saying. Like, I understand how he feels about it aesthetically, but what I think it might do, it like get tonally, it'll get like darker, like as we go on. Because I get like it doesn't look anything like the Reeves movie, but that doesn't bother me really. Like I get that it doesn't look the best, but I feel like once we get deeper and deeper into the season, it'll just like tonally just get like more and more darker. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not really the smartest guy when it comes to speaking my mind about stuff like this, but that was just something that I think would might happen. And for Sophia Falcone's character, I think they did a great job like setting her up and whatnot. Like I didn't really know that she was going to be in the show. I didn't know if you guys did, but I was like, oh, okay. She Carmine has a daughter. Cool. But I mean, yeah, I liked her character, and she went to Arkham. Maybe there'll be some backstory about her and like how she mentioned that they called her the Hangman or whatever in the papers or whatever, and
Mhm.
can't wait to see her development. And Vic's character, I don't know how I really feel about him. I mean, he's not bad at all. I don't think like him as an actor himself. I think he does a really good job in the first episode, and I can't wait to see how he's utilized in the show and how him and the Penguins dynamic will um go throughout. And also, isn't the Batman supposed to appear in some episodes, or is that some bullshit?
They're saying he's not, but I don't
Hoping
think
he
they would be
is.
saying. I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
if he was in it, I'm sure they want to save it and it'd be a surprise. So I don't think they would let us know. So
when this when
it's
this
still kind of up
show
in the air.
when this show was first being spoken about, they were saying that it's literally a show from the perspective of the bad guys with Batman, being there, like looking at
Mhm.
shadows and thinking he's there. So who knows? I hope he's in it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sad
yeah.
if he's
I
not.
mean, if they're doing crime at night, Batman needs to be there.
Yeah.
Like I know he said he
Yeah.
can't be everywhere, but he can.
Wait,
So
they're
he's in
looking
the
at
he is
shadows?
the shadows.
Did anyone see a fucking shadow in this show? Did I miss something? Did anyone see a fucking shadow? When does the
This but
penguin
this
look at a shadow once?
this whole episode was during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you're getting to my next major criticism. And do you know why it was filmed? Hold on, let me replug my mic in.
Does anyone know why
Oh
they
my
filmed this?
god.
They filmed this during
No.
the day because it's a TV production, and this way everyone could be on a regular, normal TV schedule. And it's just the standard thing to work like a 9 to 5. You're working the standard hours. So they said, fuck the aesthetic, fuck everything that Gotham is famous for. It's literally called the Batman. He literally calls himself a nocturnal animal in like the first couple of minutes of the film. But because it's more convenient for the production team to work normal daytime hours and not have to, deal with the conflicts of their family because they're filming all night and sleeping during the day. No, we're just going to film it all during the day, make it look ugly as shit, and make it not feel like Gotham at all. Which is one of I know Cashew brought up visuals, but for me it's a lot more than that. I think this just does not feel like you said the world building was important to you, and it actually was important to me too, because I part of why I watch this is because I really do love the world that Reeves has crafted, which does feel realistic. It does feel grounded in reality, but it also feels like a place that doesn't exist in our world. It feels like it's something else. Like Gotham feels like its own created city to a degree. And here, Gotham feels like it's just New York. Like this feels like this could be the same world as Spider-Man, in my opinion, based off of this episode. It doesn't feel like it's its own world. There's also no sense of place on top of it. It doesn't feel like the place is a character like it does in Matt
Mhm.
Reeves' film. But, like, it feels like I don't feel like I'm in Gotham. I feel like I'm in New York City. Like,
Well, I think I get what you're saying, but I think in future episodes, if they have an episode that takes place at night and then it starts raining, I think you might feel like you're in Gotham again. It's just that we didn't spend too much time during the day in the Batman, and it was most of the time it was night, most of the time it was raining. On top of the fact that Greg Fraser's just a god and knows how to make shit look amazing and create an aesthetic, but I don't know if this like how this episode looked is how every episode is gonna look, I guess is what I'm is what I'm saying.
So you bring up a good point because I do think it was towards the beginning. It was a night scene with the penguin, and it had that really warm orange light, which I love that aesthetic. They use it in it's the color of the street lamps of Philly when I was growing up. They use it in the Batman, like that color, that shade of light, I think is just a aesthetic I really like, and I think they did capture the aesthetic of the Reeves film in those moments that were shot at night. But my thing
The
is,
scene with Alberto, right?
yes, yes,
With the big like circular window where we
yep,
see at the end of the Batman. Yeah, that scene looks like the Batman to me. Like
it
very, very
does.
close.
So you bring up a good point where if it's at nighttime, could this feel like it's the same world? And a part of that, like I made the point earlier of like when the Batman came out, there were people who said, "Oh, it's just a nice aesthetic. It's not a good story or whatever." And I feel like this proves them wrong because obviously whoever says that is wrong, but it's it's proved like okay, you can have the aesthetic and it just still lacks so much of what Reeves did right and what made the Reeves film so great. And I think like some of those are nice, but like the fact that you're filming this much during the day, I feel like just the tone of it feels off. And I just feel
Mhm.
like it doesn't have like I can't believe no one is criticizing the final needle drop before the credits. And I'm a big music and film guy. The mood of that song, like it just feels like a joke. Like there's such an intensity, like I said to Reeves' film. Reeves can really create emotion. I felt nothing from watching this. I feel like the mood and the tone of Reeves' film are just not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in
The
this
needle drop
one,
could feel a little out of place, but I feel like they're going for a lot of levity in the show, which is good because it's going to be 8 episodes. You don't want all 8 episodes to be complete dark, just gangster. Like The Sopranos is a gangster show, but there is so much dark comedy infused in it that keeps you entertained and keeps you light on your feet. And I feel like they're trying to do that. Whereas like Matt Reeves, he has hints of comedy in the Batman, but not as often, I don't think, as the Penguin's trying to do it.
Yeah. And I get that. I get what you guys are saying, but I feel like, since it's not about the Batman, like I feel like, well, when we're watching the Batman, we're gonna get this whole different tone. But for the Penguin, I feel like he's more of like kind of a jokester. You know what I mean? He's a funny guy. He's like not
yeah.
like Batman. He's all not all serious and stuff. I like the humor that's in this. I thought that really really works well with the character. How he was talking to Vic right before he went to the mansion about, oh hey, maybe while you're sitting in this car, you can look for your sense of humor. It's gotta be in here somewhere. Thought that was pretty funny. And when he turns on the car and Dolly Parton starts playing, I thought that was pretty funny too.
Yeah.
And when the needle drop at the end, Dolly Parton again, and I'm like, okay, well that was you kind of had to do that because that's peak.
Yeah. Yeah. And his joke about the pickles, I thought was really funny too.
Yeah,
But
I don't want your fucking pickle.
did you have anything, Alan?
Would you guys mix slushies with the penguin?
I
Maybe.
do a lot of things with the Penguin. I do more
but
than mix slushies.
Coming off of Reeves' film, yes, because I thought he was such a cool character. This last hour of my life has made him so uninteresting now, so maybe not.
So you don't even like the writing either.
No, no, I actually that's what I'm saying. My criticisms are far beyond the visuals. Like I really didn't like the writing at all.
Oh, damn.
yeah, I mean, I think it is.
That's
Well, I like
unfortunate.
laughed at the comedic bits. I didn't think it was tonally like bipolar. Like it has its funny parts, and then it has its really like serious, tense parts. Like they're about to fucking cut off his arm. Um,
Mhm.
Whenever he's speaking with the two, I don't know if they're in the Falcone family or whatnot, but that whole scene I feel like was supposed to be more tense. The conversation with Salvatore Moroni didn't feel as tense as I think it should have. It also had like I think it should have been more emotional, like the mother scene as well.
Yeah,
And then
because
with his club foot as well, showing that earlier in the movie. kind of makes him look kind of grotesque and shit. And I don't know, it's just very tonally everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it could be like a little hard to balance because the Penguin's supposed to be like this show is supposed to be like a gangster show about Gotham's underworld, but at the same time, the Penguin we saw in the Batman is constantly making jokes. Like he has 12 minutes of screen time in the Batman, and
Yeah.
like 80% of the jokes are from him. So it's hard to like not make jokes constantly because we've already established that that's who he is. So it could be a little tough to balance that, and I could see some people feeling like it's a little like tonally inconsistent because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna kind of say, but I was gonna say like they're showing like his like he took Vic to his mother's house and showed that she has like dementia and whatnot because she was talking about why the bathtub was full of water and she said that the boys were playing and obviously the kids are grown up, they aren't around anymore, so it's like kind of felt like a feel bad moment. And I'm hoping that later in the show we get another like exchange of something between some characters about the I was talking about the exchange that the Penguin, Gordon, and Batman had in the Batman where he was getting interrogated and they were talking about El Radalada and he was like, El Radalada? You mean La Rada? Talking about shitty Spanish. And it was like that was the funniest scene in the movie, obviously, and I'm hoping that there's another like something like that because it really showed like he can be that funny. And yeah, that's all I was gonna say. That I was hoping there was something like that between some characters.
In terms of Vic, I've heard everyone pretty much bring him up as a character. He doesn't bother me. I think his performance is good, and I think he's basically just gonna be in the show to give us like a he's more there for the Penguin's character, and that's probably gonna be the thing that makes us like the Penguin. I think is what they're
I
going
already
for.
like him though. I don't want this character to progress him.
I
think that's
see that,
stupid.
but also like Penguin, like when he was getting his armpit cut into with the wire. By the way, that was gross as hell.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was grossing me out. But when that was happening, like he got that kid killed, like didn't give a fuck. So I feel like they're
Yeah,
trying to balance him being like fucked with like having this kind of father son dynamic with this kid. And whether that's going to work or not, I don't know, but I think that that's what they're going for. So if it leads to the Penguin having a more fleshed out character, then I'm all right with it.
I think I know you want to talk about predictions later, so I'll save what I want to say right now for that. Like part of it is like I want the Penguin to be like this despicable, backstabbing, will do anything to get to his dream of wanting to be the underworld lord of Gotham. Like, and I think him taking this kid under his wing and letting him live while he saw him, helped him move a body and took him to his mom's house. Like, I don't think he should be doing that. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't. Like, yeah, he's like comedic and stuff in the movie, but I still think he should be like a pretty cold guy.
What if his Vic's role in the show is like through 7 episodes, Penguin takes him under his wing and has this father son dynamic, and then at the end of the show, it's like he has to choose between Vic and something else, and then he kills Vic as like a point to show.
That's my prediction. That's why I didn't say it. That's my prediction is that he's gonna kill Vic.
He's obviously gonna kill him. He's obviously gonna kill him.
Yeah,
I think he should.
Because I feel like
because this father son, it's not even like that. It's just like a mentor, thing. It's not working for me. And if they do that, and the thing is that I don't think it'll work for me because I already don't care about the relationship right now. Like maybe they'll change.
Only episode 1.
I know. Maybe that'll change. But so far, I'm not too fond of it. But that's definitely my big prediction. It is. I feel like it is sort of obvious, but who knows?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, great fucking prediction.
Thank you, Alex. Negative
I mean,
Nancy over here.
he only really took him under his wing just because they can help him move the body. That's what I thought, at least.
Yeah, but then he kept
Yeah, and
driving him around
And he was like,
and
"Oh,
shit.
yeah." He was like, "Oh, I might as well use this kid to, drive me around and help me do stuff." I guess.
yeah, I guess
I
it
was
does feel a
gonna
little weird.
I was gonna try and give some positives. Since we're getting into character right now, you three of you forced me back into the negative. There, like in the Batman, we see this relationship with the city. There's those like that's what I'm saying with like the writing and not understanding a lot of what made Reeves' film great is that the Batman really communicates so much in the Reeves film without speaking.
Mhm.
Like those moments where he looks up to the Batman signal when you see it at the beginning, then you see it at the end, and it's just there's no words. It's just the music,
Yep.
just the stare of Robert Pattinson questioning what that symbol means to the city and the way that evolves, that same exact shot or same composition, same angle, all that. The way that evolves without any words, like there's no purely cinematic like communication to the audience in this film. And that doesn't mean it has to be a nice flashy aesthetic visual, but there's just moments where you can just look at the picture and you as the audience have learned something. In addition to the fact that there's no level of communication between the characters that isn't dialogue. Like there's that moment of Pattinson staring with the kid in the opening scene after the kid who just lost his father,
Yeah.
the Riddler's first murder, and there's that nonverbal communication between them. You never see anything like that in this show. It's just purely conversational dumps the entire time. In addition to the fact, like I just like what we know the Penguin wants to conquer the city. I don't feel his ambition at all. Like I just feel like, oh, it's like, yeah, who wouldn't want to be the boss? Like I don't feel his there's nothing here that makes me really understand his motivation more than any other criminal. It feels like a B crime movie where it's just, oh yeah, who doesn't want to be the boss? Like I don't see any potential in him where it's like, okay, I see that ambition. I see the fire inside of him where he will stop at nothing to get there. It's like, oh, the guy he killed the guy because he was offended by him and made him feel weak. That's not like his ambition. That's just his own insecurity.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
do we feel like it's fair to have a criticism like that after one episode of an 8-episode miniseries?
And
It's like
that's a
that's the
very
whole
fair
point.
point.
Is like I'm sure they'll go into flashbacks. We'll probably see him as a kid. We'll probably see him get bullied and shit. Like I'm sure they're gonna go into his character a lot deeper and like expand on a lot of that. So I do, as of now though, I get what you're saying. It's kind of just like a generic like, yeah, I mean, he wants to be top dog, just like most people want to be top dog. And like as of now, that's kind of what it is. And that you can tell he's like insecure and he doesn't like being made fun of. It seems like he's been made fun of and been made out to feel lesser than his whole life. So now when someone does that, it like he flips a switch and he can't control himself. But I do feel like they'll probably get into that deeper and like you may not are you gonna keep watching it or are you just done after episode one?
Yeah, I was saving that take. I don't know if the Batman's showing up, but I won't be there for it because I think I'm one and done. You bring up a very good point that there's a
Damn.
good chance that they. You bring up a good point. There's a good chance they develop his character more throughout, and I'm jumping the gun. And my answer to that is this is why people like me shouldn't watch TV.
No,
So you're not gonna
Alex,
be there?
you brought up my biggest. I think like I'm like shitting on this whole. I still enjoyed it. Like it would be like if I were to rate it, it'd be like a 3 out of 5. Like it's still positive, but yeah,
I would be also give it a 3, just 3 out of 10.
my biggest like you were saying issue is that there's no like flow of like communication, like auditory, visually. There's none. Like it just feels like it was edited together. And while you're watching the Batman, and I know we keep comparing it to a movie, but like the amount of stimulation you get from that movie is insane. Like it's
I gotta.
non-stop.
You're not wrong.
And this one, it
Listen,
just
you're
felt
not
like
gonna
I was
catch me.
watching it and I still enjoyed it, but like I don't know. I just expected it to be like more like the movie. And that
I
might be
do
wild.
need to say one thing about that. Like you say, it's not fair to compare to the movie, But like we're watching this because we're fans of the movie.
Yeah.
We're watching this because it exists in the same universe as the movie. So I feel like if you can't live up to the standard of the movie, why make it?
That's a fair point. I don't fully
Yeah.
disagree.
I feel like that will evolve more as it goes on. That's why I think you should keep watching.
Hopefully.
Unless,
Hopefully.
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I get everyone's POVs on the episode and how they feel about it, but I feel like that will just evolve. Everything will just evolve as we
People
keep going.
people that have watched the show have said that this makes Penguin one of the best villains of like any media ever now and stuff like
Alright.
that. So
Oh, they always say this fucking shit.
that's true.
It's a
That's
tad
true.
ridiculous. It's a tad
But
ridiculous.
listen,
even though I love it.
my hopes are still there. They're still pushing. But yeah, this first episode was a little underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think that that's a crazy thing to me, like, because typically villains don't get show like this much screen time to flesh them out. So, I mean, it's not unbelievable to me that someone could watch the whole show and think that he's one of the best villains, because it's just so rare. Normally, a villain gets like one movie, and in that one movie, they get like 30 minutes of screen time, and Penguin's gonna get 8 hours. So they have a chance to do something pretty special with him, but we'll just have to see if they take advantage of that.
Yeah. And when you were saying earlier about he killed Alberto because of his insecurities about being made fun of and whatnot, and making him feel little, I feel like it's not something like obviously this shows in the show, but yeah, it's not because of him and like how he just is as a person. It's because of his mother, right? I mean, remember the scene where she was like kind of making fun of him for killing him because of his insecurities and call him a pussy and whatnot. So I feel like later on they'll like show like
Yeah.
someone said this earlier about the flashbacks of his child, and maybe they'll like show flashbacks of him getting like berated by his mother, I guess, and
But
like
then the mom reinforces his like thought process as well after she shames him. So it's definitely gonna
Yeah.
go into that, like her messing with him mentally growing up and stuff and turning him into what he is now. But
yeah,
we just gotta wait and see.
yeah.
It
I'm
seems like
optimistic.
she's definitely the main reason why he is how he is, and they plan on going into that, I assume. But if nobody had more thoughts, we could go into predictions or just stuff you would like to see if you have any.
Real quick, I want to be a little positive for a minute. I've been very negative. So there was a few things I did like. So
Let's hear it.
To start, they nailed the purple of the character. Love that they did that. We don't see that in the Tim Burton version. We don't see that in the Reeves movie. Bringing the purple is a dub, and the Maserati Quattraport is fucking beautiful.
It's plum actually.
It's going. You know what? I stand corrected. But the car was fucking beautiful. That was a sexy fucking car. The car got plenty of screen time, and every time that car was on screen, I was like, okay, like I'm not like ready to jump off of my balcony.
Yeah, there's a great reason why.
Oh my god! One scene with the car when that guy gets ran over by a bus. It took everything in me not to roll my eyes. I thought that was stupid as fuck. Like that might be like a CinemaSins take, but that bothered me like a decent bit. It just seemed so just put in for no reason and stupid.
That whole scene played out a little weird.
Yeah, like he
Where
gets knocked out.
They
TPs.
they did the Tony Soprano wrestle with the gun in the car, like the exact same scene as it is in the Sopranos.
Why he does the trunk thing and it's so smart, and then they just like, nah, fuck this guy, he's stupid. Just disregard what we just did with him. And I understand that he's like playing coy and pretending to be this like lower end gangster to not raise awareness of like his ambitions and shit, but it doesn't portray it like very well for me.
Cash, actually, I agreed with you that you're right. We have 8 episodes or whatever, however many to flesh this character out. And then I sat there, remembered I just watched essentially an entire movie of this character where he is the lead. I just watched an hour of screen time with almost all of that being the character, which is more than they get in most movies. And I still don't feel like the character's fleshed out. I still don't. I found him an interesting character after the Reese film. I think the more time I spend with him in this format, I've more or less interested. But I want to finish the positives. I want to be a little positive. I do like the waddle. I think they nailed that.
Peak.
Shout out to Kristen Milioti, who plays Sophia, the sister. Cherry Hill native, right over the bridge in Jersey. I was actually over there earlier seeing a film. So shout out to her, local talent. But yeah, I thought her performance is very good. As soon as she walks in, her eyes, I'm like, this bitch is fucking crazy. Like she's her vocal tone, I'm like, she's fucking nuts. Like without like being like over, like she's like subtle repressed nuts, which is almost creepier. So I thought she did a very good job. I was a little familiar with this character from the comic The Last Halloween. I need to go reread it, but once like I recognized her and started thinking about that comic series, it bought the film a couple minutes of my interest again.
The TV show.
I don't. Sorry, the TV show. I'm so used to saying film. So I never
Yeah,
talk
your
about
brain
fucking
is just
TV.
wired for movies.
I liked when we saw Gilda in the movie because it reminded me of a better movie that I could be watching instead of this. I think most of the performances, aside from Colin Farrell and the Sophia character, are pretty bad, even from the good actors. I think, like I said, I don't need to say it again. I already said it felt like they're reading lines, but yeah, it's
Even Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
even Clancy Brown, who I like as an actor. I thought that scene was horrible. I thought that scene
What?
It didn't
felt
have
like a line
any.
reading.
It didn't
much
have
as
any like.
scene.
I don't know.
No emotion.
Yeah, like it was just like them speaking.
It felt like they were reading off of cue cards.
And
And I like Clancy Brown as an actor.
Other than Colin Farrell, they were like going in and out with the accents, like New York accents. I don't know if that was just me.
Yeah.
But Clancy Brown has like a very deep voice, so it's probably harder for him. But like, hey, bro, you gotta lock in. And then even Sophia was like at the end there when she was monologuing to Oz when he was tied down and stuff. She was also kind of going in and out of the accent. It was like, I don't know if it's because she was emotional. I'm not a dialect coach or anything, but it was a little off.
When you're in a scene with Colin Farrell, it can tend to make you look inferior.
True.
But wasn't Clancy Brown cast as Maroni like in the Batman? Like I know you see like a second of him, but was that him or is that someone else?
No, I don't even think you see his face, right? You see like his back.
I thought you did see his
they
face.
don't show him.
Okay.
But I do think that's like pretty great casting.
Yeah, I
like when I think about Maroni from the comics, that's kind of like who I picture, like someone like him. So I like that casting. I hope we get to see a lot more of them.
Mr. Krabs.
So can we say real quick, what is everyone's favorite Clancy Brown performance? I gotta ask.
Eugene Krabs, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you. Someone gets it. That's the only answer we need.
But also,
we can move on.
slept on performance, Shawshank Redemption. I love him in Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
Slept on performance, Dr. Neocortex in the Crash Bandicoot video game series.
Oh my god, that is so based, Alex. Holy shit. Bandicoot!
I'm not even gonna attempt an impression.
Bro,
Enchantment Table.
Hey, listen, he's got aura. He's got aura in John Wick 4 as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh
John
yeah.
Wick 4 too, yeah.
I mean, I'll just say SpongeBob as well, because Mr.
You gotta
Krabs
say
is
Mr.
an OG. He's an OG. Like you can't go wrong with him.
Do we have
The OG of OGs.
Do you have any more thoughts before predictions? I have like it's not really a prediction, it's just more of a question.
I just had a quick response to what Alex said about how he watched an hour-long episode and doesn't feel like the Penguin's character got progressed really at all. But my response to that would be that TV has a different level of pacing than movies do, and they tend to move slower. And that doesn't mean that there's filler, but also in this episode, they're having to set up and introduce a lot of characters. They're having to introduce Sophia and Maroni and Tony and Tony Vitti? Johnny Vitti?
I think it's Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Vitti. So they're like, it's not just fully on him the whole time. And they're having to introduce all these different, characters and layers to the story. So I get what you're saying. Like there hasn't been a ton yet so far that's developed his character more, but like I said, I'm gonna be patient and my ass will be sat there at 9 o'clock every Sunday, every Thursday night,
Yep.
like just waiting for some
Yeah.
fucking penguin. So I have faith that they'll come through and Matt Reeves gave them an outline of where he wanted the story to go, and he said it's up to y'all to figure out like how you get there. So I have a feeling like at least the finale, wherever it ends, is going to be great because that was Matt's idea. So I'm I'm pumped. I'm excited. I enjoyed the first episode, and I'm okay with the slower ish pacing because I don't know. I've seen The Sopranos, and that's the slowest show, like one of the slowest shows you'll watch. There's full episodes where they're just eating gabagool and nothing happens.
Alex,
So
if you want to,
I'm down with it.
Alex, if you want to watch a show where every episode is its own movie with like visual storytelling that is untouchable, watch Better Call Saul. That
that's
is
what everyone
insane.
says.
That is like peak TV.
He meant to say Breaking Bad.
That's what everyone tells me when I shit on TV. Everyone brings up Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I've accepted that I'm sure they are the good ones, but it's just 40, 60 hours, whatever it might be, and I just cannot commit that much time to one. There's just too much out there I want to watch. Spend that much time on one thing, but to Cash's point, I do get that like TV is a slower thing. I think that's part of just what I don't like about TV as a form. But as for character introductions, like it's like I get you have to introduce a lot of characters, but how do they introduce the characters? They introduce everyone the same way. Do you know what that is? They walk into a room. They walk into a room. Like there's no like Tim Burton's Batman 89. I understand not everyone is as high on the film as me. I understand it's a very flawed movie. I have plenty of criticisms about it myself. But if there's one thing Tim Burton does with perfection in that movie, it's introduces characters. He finds such great creative ways to introduce every single character of the film. And back to the creativity thing, every character we're introduced to here is they walk into a room.
Well, except Vic.
Yeah, true. He's trying to steal a tire.
Yeah.
But
So
what do you
yeah.
fucking do?
Hey,
Except
one out of 9 characters, kind of,
And the Penguin's lady friend. She doesn't walk out of the room. She's already in the room. He's like looking into another room. So technically,
brother is coping.
No.
Alright.
But yeah, we can get into predictions or aspirations, I guess.
Yo,
if
okay.
anyone has any.
I have one main one. All right, when they're in the subway, and that guy comes up with the QR code and is like, "See Gotham's true face." Do you think that is gonna be anything? Like, I had a gas mask on. It was past Halloween.
Yeah, maybe it's like a Riddler fan.
Think so?
It could be. There's definitely.
That's
more
what I
of them.
thought.
Like, that was so like random. Like to throw that in there.
Riddler had like kind of a huge following for his Twitch or whatever. He live stream all shit, and it was like 500 people.
He had a subreddit.
And yeah,
Hey guys.
Don't forget your cling wrap.
Thank you for the advice on explosives.
What a humble guy.
The man of the people.
Did you see Blu-ray Angel's tweet about he posted the picture of Vic and he said, "Did you say Victor?" and then put Mr. Freeze.
No.
Oh my god.
Don't do that.
I thought you said Victor Zaz first.
No, bro. That's just such a Blu-ray Angel fucking tweet.
That Peacemaker tweet is untouchable. That is the worst thing I've ever seen. That will never be topped. That is the worst piece of internet anything I've ever seen with my eyes. And I can't believe I was alive to see it. I'm pissed I was.
I gotta see that. I gotta see that.
You don't know what it is?
No.
Okay, Alex.
I don't have a fucking clue what any of you are talking about.
Alex, have you seen the Suicide Squad, Ben? Ben, you haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the Suicide Squad. But I know.
You know,
Okay, I'll watch it just for the tweet.
shit. I can't say it, but
Oh, watch it
God.
because it's peak.
Yeah, watch it because it's amazing. But God, is that tweet fucking horrific? God damn, it's like blasphemy to anything that like I love.
Dude, he just spouts so much. He shits out a tweet every hour. Just some asinine fucking prediction.
Bro.
And then 1 in a million of them hit. And then he's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
And then people
Like,
will,
dude.
people will point at those nonsense tweets he makes that actually happen and say that the movie's shit because he predicted it.
Yeah,
like, bro, if you throw a million darts and miss most of them, you're gonna hit a few.
Yeah, they treat him like he's the Lisan Al-Gaib because he hit on one of his 8 million predictions.
Hold on, let me try to find it if you guys want to continue, and I'll send it to you, Alex.
That's why I don't talk about like me predicting movies or like, oh, it's so predictable, because so many possibilities cross my mind. I've predicted almost every movie I watch because I've just thought of. I don't say like, oh, it's this. I'm like, okay, it could be this, 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 or this.
Yeah.
So
My
like
brain
you say,
doesn't
when you throw
work
1,000 darts,
like
roll
that.
with it.
Where like when I'm watching a movie, I try not to predict anything, and I try to just take in the movie.
I'm the
Because
same
I feel
way,
like
honestly, for the
if
most
my
part.
mind starts running and like trying to think of things, then I'm missing what's on screen. Like I'm in my head instead of watching
Alex,
the movie. So
look at
I try
your
not
DMs when you can.
Am I missing something?
It's just so bad, bro.
I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm sorry. I just whatever is going right over my head.
Oh my God. Oh, you don't remember what happened.
I don't. I haven't seen the movie since
Okay.
2021.
Yeah, that's what it is. But God, that tweet is fucking horrible. All right, any hopes for the show?
The Batman shows up, please.
Of course.
Bruce Wayne. I want Bruce Wayne to show up.
Oh.
I don't know how. I don't know how it would happen. I don't know what what event would bring together the Penguin and Bruce Wayne to be in the same place. But maybe some kind of like
Carmine's funeral
thing. Yeah.
Maybe.
because he could go just
That's
to
a good. Whoa.
reconcile his.
You might be spitting.
You know, father and.
You might be
rumors and
spitting.
stuff. Yeah.
That's
I hope
that's a low-key spit. That could happen.
Maybe like a black mask. You know, that would be.
I would,
sick.
dude. Black Mask would fit really well with this, like what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Like he's a street level fucking gangster. That's what he is. Yeah, I'd like to see the Batman, or I'd like to see Bruce Wayne, but like, Matt Reeves has said he didn't want to put him in because he didn't want to take away, like he didn't want a distraction from the story they were telling, which I get, which could be true, but it also could be a load of malarkey. Like I feel like if he was in the show, they'd want it to be a surprise. And wasn't there set leaks of him, like Robert Pattinson in New York
there
when they were
was.
filming The Penguin?
There was.
Like he wasn't
He's
in
gonna show up in the
costume,
finale.
but he was like Robert
I don't
Pattinson in
think
like
so.
his normal Robert Pattinson clothes was there on set, so people just assumed he was there to shoot for a cameo or something. But that would be cool, but it's not like I'm not expecting it to happen, but if it does, I'll be happy. But I'm just hoping to get more of an idea what direction they're going in part 2, which I'm having trouble like trying to figure out what that is, because Matt Reeves said that like when the Penguin ends, you'll know kind of what direction, like a direction we're going with part 2. But if they cast someone like my prediction, not for the Penguin, but my prediction for part 2 is that like Harvey Dent's going to be a part of it. But if they casted Harvey Dent in the Penguin as like in the finale, like they tease Harvey Dent, I feel like that would have leaked, because the cast gets like instantly released online. You know, when Clancy Brown was cast as Maroni, that was public, and then Kristen Milioti as Sophia Falcone, that instantly goes public. So like there hasn't been anything like that leak. So unless they're just doing a really good job keeping it secret, I don't feel like they're gonna release any like big characters or big castings or anything, and it's kind of just gonna be more of like a general idea than like an actual villain. But that would be my like one of my things I'd like to see is like the finale ending off on giving us an idea of who the villain of part 2 might be. But I also feel like the villain of part 2's like story might be very disconnected from the Penguin story, and it might not even like match up with the show at all. Like if it's Hush, like I don't think Hush would be in the Penguin's world at all, so I don't think he would show up. But
Do you think for any reason, and Sophia Falcone, Arkham, do you think is there any reason they'll go there in the show? And I mean, we know Riddler and Joker are there, so
That's a good point. If she just got, it's like they're talking about her like she just got released.
yeah,
So that means she was in there with Joker and Riddler. So they could do that. They could give us a flashback and maybe see some Arkham um, inmates, which would be really cool.
yeah.
I'd be a huge fan of that. That could make up for the canceled Arkham series that we were supposed to get. But
Or aren't they still working on that? But it's not Reeves verse
I think they canceled everything
entirely.
I think they canceled both of them.
Damn.
Yeah.
I have little confidence that this show doing Arkham would be that much better than a profit closet.
Come on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, if
I
they
just
show an
wanted to say-
interior, I'll be fine. But I don't want them to show an exterior if they're going to continue with this level of
Yeah,
quality.
I agree there. Because they haven't shown the exterior yet, right? So
Yeah, we
they're
went
still-
to Blackgate as well, by the way, in this episode for the first time, I believe.
Yeah, that's true too.
Just an interior though.
That's a great
I don't
point.
care how they do it. Sorry, what did you
Because
say, guys?
then, like, I was just gonna say with Blackgate and Arkham, like, just doing interiors, so then you leave it to Matt and Greg to create the aesthetic of the outside, because
We
that's like
usually leave it
a
to them.
huge thing. Yeah, like the way Arkham looks in like the Arkham games and everything, and like that's really important to make it look very gothic and fucking cool as shit. So I'm glad that they're kind of. It seems so far it looks like they're just doing interiors and leaving everything else for the movies.
Yeah. I just wanted to say real quick, Alex, you said that if the Batman shows up, it'll be in the finale. I don't think he'll be in the finale. I think he'll be in like episode 6, maybe 7, because if they put him in the finale, it'll kind of just like take away from the whole story a little bit and like just switch the focus over to the Batman a little bit, because it's like, oh, it's the Batman. Like, let's just not focus on the Penguin for a second, just focus on him. I feel like in the finale, it'll just focus all on the main story and just the Penguin and what is going to happen then.
I feel like they'd have to
Yeah,
play
but I
it really
say-
well though if they do episode 6, because then if those other episodes don't live up to the one with the Batman in it, it's gonna be rather unfortunate.
Yeah.
But when I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
finale, I mean like the end of the finale. Like they've wrapped up the story of this film. We've had our conclusion, and like the last 10 minutes, the Batman shows up, and we have some form of like, not quite a cliffhanger, but some form of anticipation for the Batman too.
Yeah.
That would be
good.
awesome.
And
That would be pretty fucking awesome.
yeah,
What I would like to see from this show is more than anything is that I'm hoping that Reeves saw this episode, watched the daily, said, "Wow, this is a fucking disaster." He went in there and he ghost directed the rest of the series, and found a way to save it. That's what I'm hoping for. I'd like to see. Cash was like, "Are we supposed to get 8 episodes of all nighttime?" And yes, that is exactly what I want to see. I don't want to see another fucking ugly daytime shot for the rest of the series, please. And
Not ridiculous.
yeah, I hope that I need to reread the Long Halloween comic. A part of me hopes that they maybe take some inspiration from that. Part of me also fears that they would just butcher whatever they attempted. But yes, I would like to. I'm hoping that there's some kind of loyalty, I guess, to the comics in the upcoming ones, or I probably will not be a part of this brigade for much longer.
Well, in terms of the daytime nighttime stuff, I feel like you're not being fair to the Penguin and the other criminals of Gotham, because if I was a criminal in Gotham, I would not be stepping foot outside at nighttime. I don't want to get my shit packed in. So I'll keep my ass outside during the day, and I'll leave it at that. Like I'm good. Like I've seen what he's doing to motherfuckers at night, so I'm good on that.
But if that's your excuse, like make it known. Like you could do something like the sun is setting, and now you have a deadline in the story for the Penguin to get something done. Like let's say the Penguin is fuck, what's something he did? I'm already forgetting this fucking show from my brain. Like let's
Oh,
say
Alberto.
yeah, let's say he's let's say the nighttime and the sun setting would have been a deadline for him to add urgency for him to get something criminal done because they fear the nighttime and need the light of knowing that the Batman won't be around. But it's never even like addressed. I know you don't want to put him in this, but he still is a presence in the world, but has no presence in the show. So that's the
But
reason it's during the day. I feel like we should kind of know that that's the reason.
but also considering Penguin's a Batman villain, do you think it would kind of make him look like a pussy if he's afraid of the nighttime because of Batman?
If he said it, but they could show it because I'm sure he's going to feel it.
Yeah. And I guess Penguin isn't like the same kind of villain as like most of Batman's other villains, were like Bane or some shit that like Bane's not afraid of Batman at all, but he should be. But Penguin, like we kind of know he's kind of a pussy. Like
We see him do pussy
like
shit in this episode.
yeah, like I think he's definitely afraid of Batman, but I don't know. I guess that's kind of a hard line to tread because you want him to be a good opposition to Batman too. So
Yeah. And if the Batman shows up, I feel like it'll be during that like big shipment scene, because I think on the calendar when he was looking at his phone, it said like 8 p.m. You know, obviously it's nighttime or getting close to nighttime, so maybe that'll happen. I don't know.
Imagine
I
some shit
mean,
like the Batman Begins shipment scene.
it would be cool. Maybe
with the shaky cam.
with the shaky
No,
cam
not
and-
that. But the same sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hearing little noises and
Something
like
like
looking
that.
around, not knowing
Yeah.
where he is. That would be fucking sick.
That would, I mean, not filmed the way it was in the Batman Begins. I mean, I love
Yeah.
Batman Begins. I'm not shitting on it, but obviously that scene is very flawed.
That-
But
Yeah.
if it's shot the way it should be shot, you know, with a steady hand, then maybe it would work.
And
Steady
you trust
hands,
this shit?
steady
Do you
hands.
trust this series to shoot it right?
I'm
not
very
yet.
optimistic. I'm not coping, but I'm optimistic.
Oh, one thing I did notice that I was like, I noticed a drastic step down in quality was the car chase, because the Batman's car
Oh,
chase
yeah.
is like full on
greatest thing
exteriors for
ever.
like 80% of
Yeah.
it, like in the rain on a highway, like full widescreen shots of both cars crashing into other cars, crashing into the side of the road, like perfectly. You can see everything perfectly.
Or
And
the
then
POV
in the
ramp
Penguin,
shot.
it was like,
oh my god.
yeah, yeah. Don't even get me
Oh.
started. That shit's fucking
This one was
perfect.
three. It
But,
was
like-
3 turns. You see the car turn 3 times.
Yeah,
it's-
Yeah,
this
and it was
was-
all
that
just
goes
like-
close up.
It was
That
all
shit
just
go close
inside
up.
the car, like green screen.
Oh,
like
yeah.
there was no real exterior shots that looked like they filmed it, you know, in camera. So that part,
Yep.
I in the moment, I was like, that's a huge step down from the Batman. So I do agree, quality wise, there.
And the car's beautiful. Like it's the same.
Yeah,
Like you
show
had a
it,
beautiful car.
Show it.
Yeah.
The
Oh
plum
man.
Yeah.
mark.
Did y'all have anything else you wanted to talk about with the Penguin?
Not with the
Good.
Penguin.
I'm sorry for bringing the downer on the episode, bringing the negativity.
We need
So,
one.
sorry for killing the mood.
We need somebody to balance me out, because I'm
I
just
hope
on
I
cloud nine.
sparked some good discussion, but
Yeah. No,
I know
I'm not,
I
and I'm
definitely
glad
dampened
that
the mood.
and I'm glad that you spoke on a lot of that stuff, because now I might keep my eye open for it a little more going forward, where I was just a little blinded by like my excitement, and now I'll be a little like, I'm still gonna be excited, of course, but like I'll be paying attention to the stuff you were talking about, seeing if it improves at all. But did Ben and Allan, did y'all have anything?
Not about the Penguin. I'm just like Greg Fraser. If you don't come back for the Batman 2, I will kill myself. That's all I
Yeah,
gotta
that was
say.
the last thing I was gonna bring up was like me and Allan, we talked about it earlier. We're definitely in the boat of, if Greg can't do it, then delay it
it
until
Yep.
he can do it.
I don't care.
110%.
I will wait
he
until I'm
is
40.
integral.
I will wait until I'm fucking
Yeah.
40 years old if it takes that long. He is,
I would rather
like-
jerk off the cheese grater than watch the movie with a different.
It's just Giacchino, Frazier, and Reeves. That's like the golden three trio when it comes to
yeah, they
crafting
need to come
Batman
back.
film.
They have to.
Yeah. It looks like Giacchino pretty much promised that he'd he'd come back and do the music, but Greg is just in such high demand right
Being
now.
a silly
and
guy.
I think it should work out though, because the Batman's supposed to shoot early next year, and I don't think Dune 3 is
Yeah,
shooting
no
that
fucking
soon at all.
way. No fucking way.
Yeah,
Like,
no shot.
Dune-
No shot.
Yeah, so I think we
Forget
should be
Dune.
good unless he has some other project lined up that we don't know about. I'm pretty sure it's just the Batman and Dune. I think that's like all he has on his schedule.
Oh
so.
yeah. If I were Greg Fraser, I'd look at my schedule and be like, Batman and Dune and some other shit.
Yeah.
Drop that other shit. It's not Batman. or
Everything
Dune.
else, suck my dick.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if he says no to the Batman because he's committed to a Gareth Edwards film?
Jurassic World,
Oh,
whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh god.
Is he
That
supposed
could be
to
filming
shoot
next
that?
year.
I
He's
mean, he
done
shoots
most
every
of
Gareth
Gareth
Edward.
Edwards' films.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Oh
no.
fuck.
Please
Greg
no,
needs
please
to
no.
lock in. He needs to lock in on the Batman
Dude,
part
if
2.
he isn't filming the Batman for the fucking Jurassic World 4, then I might quit movies and just never watch a fucking movie again, honestly.
I
Oh,
might,
yeah.
might just jump off a bridge, bro. Please, that cannot be true.
I'll go
You know
to
when people used to
Zombieland.
like people used to take a poop in a bag and then light it on fire and put it on people's doorsteps?
Yeah, that'd be better
I'd do
than that.
I'd do that to Greg Fraser's
That
story.
happening to me would be better
I'll
than
put you
Greg
on further.
Fraser saying he's not going to be the Batman.
I would
too.
I would get a flaming poop bag on my doorstep for the rest of my life if it meant Greg Fraser shot the Batman too. But I'd gladly take that.
Throw poop at my
That's an even
door.
deal.
That'd be better.
I would camp outside his house. I would move out of my house. I'd fly to LA and I would pitch a tent. I would camp
Yeah.
outside his house and take a shit on his doorstep every day until he does the Batman.
We're gonna riot outside his house.
Please.
I
Is
might
there
kill
even
his
like
awful-
Hear this?
is there even like a possible replacement? Like if you had to pick one, is there someone that comes to mind that
Roger
would do a
Deakins.
decent job?
Everyone's gonna say Deakins. Deakins is the best when
That's
it comes
it,
to
bro.
lighting, cinematography, and lighting your cinematography, which is a big part of the Batman. Like Deakins is the best ever DP when it comes to lighting. I think Fraser's the best at using shallow focus and tight lenses, but when it comes to that lighting aesthetic of the Batman, I mean Deakins could do it. I want to see Fraser continue what he started, but like I don't think we're gonna be complaining if it was Deakins.
The only
If you
ones,
can't get Fraser, that would be the next the
Either-
next best thing.
either Deakins or Lubeski. That's the only ones I'd ever accept.
What'd he do?
Or
Lubeski
Hoyt,
did
of course.
A lot of peak.
Revenant, Gravity, Tree of Life, Birdman.
Oh,
To
okay,
Mama
okay.
Man. He cooks. He cooks.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah,
ooh,
alright, that's
Van
valid.
Whittemore
Valid.
would
But
be.
even him, I don't know if, and I'm a huge fan of his work. This is not a knock to him. Like, based on what I've seen him do, his style, like, I just don't think he would be as good for the Batman.
No, I 100% agree. This is like the connection that he has to the movie's like importance is insane. Like
He's almost
like-
as
it's like-
important as Matt Reeves.
it's like Maricone with Leone.
Yeah, no,
That
literally.
is what it is. It's insane how like important he is to the world. Like, I mean, you can look at it in
Yeah.
the Penguin. If he was there, I would have no complaints.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you take, like, a Matt Reeves story, if you take the Batman script and then put the Penguin's cinematography and filmmaking on it, it's not it's not a 5-star movie.
my brains would be on the roof right now if that happened.
Yeah. So, like, Fraser is as important as Matt
Or the
Reeves,
ceiling,
really,
I should
like,
say.
to the quality of the
Absolutely.
film.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I even
guess
said
that's,
Greg Fraser was the MVP of Dune over Hans Zimmer, which is crazy. I never thought I would say that.
that's not ridiculous. I mean,
It's just that the combo is so amazing, dude. They
Yeah.
like work so well off each other. It's insane.
the good
But
thing
Fraser's
is we get
literally
both.
my favorite DP. We do get both.
Yeah.
That is the great thing.
Yeah. We were, that fucking 2001
blessing.
score argument.
Oh,
We don't have time to get into that.
Oh, not this again. Not this again.
No, that's another time. Another time.
Yeah, we'll be here till 1 in
Um,
the fucking morning. Or sorry,
yeah,
3 in the fucking morning. It's already 1.
I think that's everything. So, but yeah, thank you, all the boys, all the fellas, for coming on, talking Penguin. I appreciate
Yes,
it. This was fun. and hopefully we can get you guys on for another episode sometime in the future. But for now, thank you for listening to the Film Scoop.
I did not pick up on
You
that
left
cue.
me hanging there.
Carl, you have soft hands for not joining the episode, buddy.